We're diving into a question that I receive all the time, which is how can I obtain a second, third, or just an additional citizenship? Now, there are various different methods in order to obtain an additional citizenship. So, today I'll be going through what these methods look like and what the process in general is. Now, of course, depending on the country that you are obtaining citizenship in, the process and the documentation that is needed within that process is going to look very different, but we're going to be diving into what the general process for obtaining an additional citizenship looks like. Now, the first option is citizenship by investment. So, yes, you are making an investment into the country. A lot of the times, there are various different options for investment. That can be a donation to the country, that can be in real estate, and that can be in a development fund as well. Now, it's important to note that if you are donating the funds, let's say there is not a real estate option, of course, you are not getting a return on that money. It is donated money, but what you're getting in return for the funds donated is a very valuable asset, which is a second citizenship and therefore an additional passport. So while donation is technically donation to a government, it still yields a very valuable end result. Some of the most popular countries in terms of citizenship by investment are the Caribbean, which we do have a new video that is linked above explaining more about the new changes for Caribbean citizenship and the new price increases, which have increased quite significantly compared to the old pricing. And as I tell clients all the time, pricing will only ever increase, processes will only ever become more difficult. This is not ever going to become easier or a lower price point. So get in now if you are interested in obtaining that additional residency, citizenship, or bank account. So Caribbean is one good option. Another option that we see of quite a bit of interest these days is Turkey, which currently stands at 400K USD in real estate in the country. This can be in one piece of property or multiple. And from that, you're able to hold that and obtain citizenship. Turkey is also a very interesting market if you're looking for market diversification, depending on where your current investments are held. Reach out to us if you are interested in learning more or getting the process underway. Moving on to the second option is citizenship by naturalization. So, if you do not have the funds for citizenship by investment, citizenship by naturalization is an excellent opportunity. Now, of course, with citizenship by investment, the first option we spoke about, what you are going to be giving up there is your money. Whereas citizenship by naturalization, you are going to be giving up your time. So it is important to note if you are looking to obtain an additional citizenship that you are either going to be giving up your money or your time. There is no option where you can spend no time on the ground and no investment. If you're looking for a residency, then this can absolutely be the case. There are still some countries where this is possible. But if you're looking for a citizenship to really integrate into a culture and to have that travel document for the rest of your life, that is not something that comes at a low cost or that comes easily. So the second option here is citizenship by naturalization. Now, there's usually a holding period where you will have residency first in that country. This can be anywhere from a few short years to 5 or 10 years, again, depending on the country, and lifestyle comes into play into this as well, very much so. Of course, you're wanting to obtain a citizenship where the lifestyle is beneficial to you, where you enjoy spending time, or otherwise, it may simply be a good diversification option in your passport portfolio. But when we're talking about citizenship by naturalization, a lot of the time you are either going to have to spend time on the ground, you're going to have to buy a business or a piece of real estate or start a business in that country and then live, potentially work in that country for a predetermined amount of years. You're going to become a tax resident if this is via naturalization, probably spending 3 or 6 plus months, again, depending on the country, in that specific country, and you will be paying taxes there and you'll be working your way toward that second citizenship. The second option is by birth, and there are quite a few interesting options where your child is able to obtain citizenship by them being born in a specific country. And there are various countries that still honor this system: Central America, South America, and Europe. There are countless options. So if you're interested in learning more about what that may look like, then you can reach out to us. A lot of the time, the child will automatically become a citizen once they're born in the country and their birth is registered. They can have the passport in hand in only a few months' time, and the parents will be granted residency. Now, most of the time, parents are not granted citizenship. You will have to spend time in the country with your residency in order for that to lead to citizenship. The next two options we're going to run through very quickly are marriage and by blood. So, by marriage, this is pretty self explanatory. If you marry a local, if you marry someone who holds that citizenship, then by spending usually minimum 2 to 3 years in that country, we usually see between 3 and 5 years of spending time in that country, then you will be able to also obtain your citizenship based on marriage. And of course, that it is a valid marriage and spending time in the country. The last option I mentioned is by blood. So, again, most of Europe and Latin America will honor this, where if you have family who has lived in said country, maybe they have lived elsewhere as well. You were born in a different country, but they still hold the citizenship of previous country where they had lived, then you may, again, it depends on the number of generations, then it depends on the country and what their rules are, but you may then be eligible to apply for citizenship through your family through blood. So once you've identified the best option in order for you to obtain your additional citizenship, what are the next steps in the process? Now, for any residency or citizenship process, of course, there is going to be documentation needed. So it very much so is based on the way that you are qualifying for citizenship, whether that's through investment. They're going to want to see proof of funds and then proof of the investment. Let's say you're investing in real estate, that the title is in your name. A lot of the time, they are also going to want to see proof of income or proof of net worth. There is always going to be a police check component, and this is always going to be on the national level of countries that you are either residing in now or have lived in the past. Again, this very much so varies depending on the country where you are obtaining citizenship, but there is always going to be very standard documentation, birth certificate, marriage certificate that these countries are going to want to see. And then, of course, depending on how you qualify, there will be additional documentation needed from there. If you are interested in obtaining an additional citizenship or residency, we guide you from step A to Z. We will help with the documentation collection process, which again is very different depending on the way you're qualifying and depending on the country. And we will help you if you need to be on the ground in that country to submit the documentation, go through the process, and have the end result, again, whether it is citizenship, passport, residency in hand. Now, for all citizenship processes, due diligence is a very important piece of the citizenship process. Of course, the country wants to know and understand who they are letting into their country as a legal citizen. Depending on the country, depending on the citizenship that you're investing in, this can take as little as 1 to 2 months, or it can easily take 6+ months for the due diligence process to be completed. Again, depending on the country, you may even get a knock at your door. So you want to be prepared for this process. Due diligence is a longer time frame in the overall time frame of the citizenship that you are looking to obtain. So that is very much so an important piece of any citizenship and even in some cases residency process. We have 20 plus teams based throughout Latin America, Europe, and various tax beneficial countries in the globe. Our team spans across 20 plus countries globally in very tax beneficial or citizenship residency beneficial countries throughout Latin America, Europe, and Asia. So if you are interested in learning more about your residency citizenship process, obtaining an additional bank account, or even a tax optimized company formation, reach out to us below. And potentially in as little as 1 year, you can have an additional, whether it be second, third, fourth, citizenship in hand. All of our links are below. And don't forget to hit the video on the screen if you're interested in learning more about becoming a diversified global citizen.